you are new here, hi, my name is Madison. I am a Reiki Master Teacher, I am a medium, I am an Akashic Reader, and I also have started dabbling in remote viewing recently. So I do a little bit of everything in the spiritual and metaphysical realm. And today we're going to be talking about 5 signs that you're going through a spiritual awakening. I am also going to be drawing a tarot card. I do work with tarot cards, oracle cards. I think it's so fun to work with cards. I even have like journaling prompt cards. So if you do not have a deck of cards and have been feeling drawn, consider this your sign. So today we're going to talk about 5 signs that you are going through a spiritual awakening. And we're going to talk about this because I was in the Akashic Records probably last week. I did a channeled message, and it was just called Channeled Message for Light Workers. I was in the Akashic Records and I was like, hey guys, what does the collective need to hear? And the message that came through, very first thing, was more people are going to awaken over the next 10 months than people have over the past 10 years. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy. And so I've been feeling really called to talk a little bit about what it's like to go through a spiritual awakening, how to know if you're going through a spiritual awakening, and maybe give you guys a little bit of clarity and help on the journey. Because I know for me, whenever I was going through a spiritual awakening, I was like, why are these things happening? And like, I didn't quite understand it. So definitely working to just normalize a little bit of that for you guys and make you feel a little less alone in the journey. Okay, let's get into it. I wanted to start by drawing a card and giving you guys a quick little reading to start. So let's see what we got. The High Priestess. Okay, there are only so many cards that represent divine feminine energy. And this is a card that very much represents divine feminine energy. The High Priestess is all about being able to be in the divine feminine flow of money, abundance, trusting in the universe, knowing that you're stepping into your path, knowing that things are always working out for you, knowing that the universe is on your side, but also very much knowing that you are powerful, you are here to create, you are here to live, to enjoy, to be abundant, and to not be in a mindset of scarcity or lack or not enoughness. So the High Priestess is always your reminder that like you literally are the High Priestess. Stepping into your divine feminine energy can truly help you to grow and just really jump light years. So that was our tarot card for the day. Ooh, we'll do one more. The Hermit. I love to look at the bottom card. Some people always look at the bottom cards, some people pull from the top. It doesn't matter, wherever you feel drawn. The Hermit, I always look at the bottom card because it's always like an underlying message, if that makes sense. The Hermit is always a sign that you need to go inward in order most of the time to do more spiritual work. So for me, I'm interpreting this card as I have been feeling the draw to learn more about the metaphysical and quantum world and start teaching about that as opposed to just some of the spiritual things that I do, to actually kind of loop together the spiritual and the metaphysical and the quantum world kind of all into one in my teachings. And in order to do that, I definitely have to go inward because it definitely is going to require a lot of reading. I'm very much feeling drawn to start getting a lot more educated on a lot of the quantum principles, how quantum mechanics works, how quantum physics works. And in order to do that, I have to spend a lot of time going inward as opposed to maybe normally I would be more inclined to do more of the fun people-facing things. So it's cool because each card has a meaning, and then each meaning always somehow pertains to your life. I had one other card fall out that I'll go through with you guys. The Magician. The Magician is always a great manifestation reminder. The Magician is a reminder that we literally create our own realities. We create our own realities. We create our own scenarios. If we want to manifest a specific scenario, we can do this through visualization. It's literally the reminder that you are the creator of your own destiny, but you do have to take some action. You can't just say, I want to manifest a successful business and $1 million, do nothing and it come to you. It's showing that you can manifest anything you want, but you also have to do the work at the same time. So I love when this card comes through. Okay, now let's get into it. 5 signs you're going through a spiritual awakening. I tapped into the Akashic Records and I said, hey, what are the 5 biggest signs people are dealing with right now that we need to talk about or normalize. So here's what we got. First one, spiritual synchronicities. I'm going to give you an example. I was just doing an Akashic reading right before I got on this, and the person that I was working with was like, hey, I feel really drawn to do ayahuasca and go to Costa Rica and do an ayahuasca trip and really heal through that plant medicine modality. And I wanted to know, what my Akashic record says about that. So we talked about that, but we also talked about how she'd been getting a lot of signs that this was not something that she was supposed to go on. She had kind of been thinking about it, and then all of a sudden, like, the opportunity presented itself. She started to see people on her reality TV show that she likes that are doing ayahuasca. She started to see more about it on social media. She started to hear more stories about it. Those are what we call spiritual synchronicities. So we have this thing where we're like, I don't know, should I do this? Should I not? And the universe is like, hey, let us give you these opportunities. Let us show you other people that have used it, and let us, kind of bring these things to you. So I think that is so cool. I love how spiritual synchronicities work out, and it truly is just little like winks from the universe. Other synchronicities could be seeing angel numbers right after you ask for a sign, seeing a butterfly right after you ask for a sign. And another cool thing with angel numbers is each angel number series actually has its own meaning. So like 222 means something different than 444. So 222, for example, normally is a sign that you are exactly where you're supposed to be, like physically. So if you're on the way to do something you don't want to do, but you know you need to do, and you see 222, that's going to be your reminder that you're where you're supposed to be, even if it's not where you want to be. 444 is normally a reminder that your spirit guides are physically here around and with you. A lot of times we go through life and just forget, like, our spirit guides are here and around and want to help. And so a lot of times when I see 444, it's that reminder to like snap me out of the physical and step into the reality of knowing that my spirit guides are around, and if I'm feeling frustrated or stressed, I can literally just ask them for help. Okay, next sign you're going through spiritual awakening. Feeling, seeing, or hearing spirit guides around. I've been talking to a lot of people that are seeing this manifest as like almost seeing spirits out of the corner of their eye, and they look and then it's not there. That's a lot of times how clairvoyance starts. Clairaudience can sometimes start as you getting some downloads or things that you're like, that definitely wasn't my thought, but it was definitely an answer to something that I needed. And then a lot of people can also feel their spirit guides around. Maybe they feel them literally coming in to like give them a hug. They can feel their energy. They can feel them touching them. Everybody has these different ways that their spiritual gifts show up. But noticing that your spiritual gifts are either giving you guidance or downloads or knowledge that your spirit team is around, that is a huge way that you can really just step into that alignment and just remember that, like, oh yeah, I'm not alone. There's always spirit guides around to help. They're always here to help me, and that's truly a beautiful thing. Okay, third sign you're going through a spiritual awakening is you're experiencing the ear ringing. So a lot of people experience the ear ringing, and so I went into the Akashic records and I said, hey guys, why are so many people experiencing the ear ringing, and what does it mean? And I got 3 main reasons that your ear ringing is tied to spiritual awakening. First thing that came through was sometimes it could be a sign that clairaudience is about to turn on. So clairaudience a lot of times is what I would like to describe as like a podcast download, right? So we're maybe getting downloads or messages from our guides, but like we know that they're not our thoughts or our downloads coming through. We know that they're from someone else, if that makes sense. And these are always going to be messages of the light, right? So that's a big way that people are like, how do you know if it's from the light? If the message is a message from the light of positivity, of love, of grace, of understanding, of next steps, that's how you're going to know, right? You're always going to feel a sense of peace and a sense of knowing that that message is from the light when it's from your spirit guides. Next thing, as far as why some people get the ear ringing, upgrade incoming in your spiritual ascension. So maybe you're not about to have clairaudience turn on, but maybe you're about to have some other spiritual gifts or synchronicities or things just kind of fall into your lap. But the other day I went to an event just like for like in my personal life, and I ended up sitting right beside somebody who was telling me that they've been trying to learn how to work with their spirit guides more. And I was like, that's so crazy. I literally teach people how to do that. So it could be things like that, where like you're wanting to do things in the spiritual world and people literally just fall in your lap to be able to help you in the journey. So things like that could also be a sign. Third reason that a lot of people experience the ear ringing is your guides are trying to snap you out of the 3D and remind you that there is a lot more to life than just this. That was something that took me a little while to learn, because sometimes I'd have the ear ringing and it would almost be their way of being like, hello, stop being so fixated on like the 3D world and producing and creating and da 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 da, and just remember that like you're a spirit having a human experience. Just relax, remember that we're around. And so sometimes it's just that snapping you out of the 3D to remind you that there's so much more than just our physical reality that's around us. Okay, fourth sign you might be going through a spiritual awakening. You feel less drawn to drama, gossip, negativity. For me, I actually get like physically uncomfortable now a lot of times being around that, like being around people who are just constantly negative, constantly talking bad about other people. I have just found myself really maybe just putting up some boundaries and not choosing to be around people who I've noticed every time I'm around them it's negativity and gossip and just that's all. Like I don't really want to be around people who talk about people. I want to be around people who talk about things and ideas and their mission and spiritual concepts and quantum physics and like all of that, you know? And so a lot of times when you're going through an awakening, you realize you're surrounded with people who maybe don't match the vibration that you're wanting to get to now. And what I find is a lot of times as people will start to just slowly just fade away from your life a little bit, slowly at a time. Maybe, you know, you guys kind of grow apart and the universe brings you some people that are a little bit more aligned in. It's kind of that, you know, push and pull of the universe. You're always going to have somebody, but maybe it's not some of these people that you've aligned with in the past. Okay, last one, heightened intuition. So if you've been having really clear intuition around things that are good for you, things that are bad for you, people that are good for you, people that are bad for you, intuition is a big thing that's tied to spiritual awakening, because the more awakened you become, the more you realize that you have most of the answers inside of you in terms of whether or not you should date that guy or befriend that person or go to that event. Most of the time your body already knows. And if you take a second to just say, okay, this person invited me out for dinner. How does that energetically make me feel? Do I feel anxious and nauseous and a little afraid? Or do I feel excited and aligned and can't wait to see them? Most of the time, you already know the answer. There's just maybe that little bit of people pleaser in you that's like, oh, I have to say yes because they invited me, or it's rude to say no, or whatever, right? And so whenever we take a moment to stop and really just look inward, that is when things really start to take off for us, because we start to realize that a lot of the things that we would look for other people's opinions to validate what we're doing, we can do that for ourselves. So heightened intuition is another huge, huge thing that really turns on for you as you're going through a spiritual awakening. So if any of these resonate with you, I would love to have you follow along, like, subscribe, and I would love to have you also on my membership platform. I am launching a 5D Ascension membership that is designed for people going through spiritual awakening. In this program, I'm going to teach you how to access your Akashic record, how to clear your chakras, how to connect with your higher self. There's going to be tons of channeled messages and teachings, and it is truly going to be something that is going to allow you to have all the resources at your fingertips via the membership platform, to be able to go in and access your Akashic record anytime, connect with your higher self anytime, have new lessons. There is going to be something to come out new every single Monday. So every single Monday I'm going to have new teachings come out, whether it be activations, channeled messages, workshops. Everything that I'm teaching in person basically is going to go on this membership platform. So if you are not in Greensboro and you want to learn more about what I do, would love to have you there. If you are in Greensboro, maybe you've been wanting to do some of the stuff, but you're looking for maybe a little bit lower price point, this is also a great option. The membership is going to include 4 exclusive teachings, and it is only $44.44 a month. So $44.44 is going to be the price of it. And so it comes down to like $11 per class or workshop, which is like an incredibly good deal. So I hope that you guys will join that. It should launch today or tomorrow. So if you are not watching this video live, you can hop over to my bio to see more about joining the Ascension membership. Also a great place if you've been wanting to learn how to access your Akashic records and you haven't maybe had the funds to invest in a course. I do have an Akashic Records workshop as my very first channel teaching, so immediately off the bat, you'll learn how to access your Akashic record. Akashic Records is where I do majority of my teaching and channeling, so I wanted to make sure that you guys kind of understood and could access your Akashic records, so that way the teachings would make maybe a little bit more sense. So that's what I have going on there. If you want to work with me one-on-one, I do offer readings and workshops and classes, and I also offer retreats. So we have a retreat in Sedona, September 21st to the 26th, that is going to be a truly life-changing spiritual retreat. We are going to be doing things like doing energy healing at a vortex, doing cacao ceremonies, going horseback riding, going to see the Grand Canyon, and it's truly just going to be a great week of being surrounded by spiritual community, other spiritual women. So if you would like to snag a spot for that, I believe we still have one left, and we would love to see you in Sedona. So you can hop on over to my website, save your spot, or you can DM me on Instagram. All my socials are at Holistic Awakening. So if you ever want to DM me on social media and just ask more questions, feel free. Normally I respond within a day or two. But yeah, I would love to have you guys come to any of that feels aligned for you. Right now I'm really working on being able to offer everything online, in person, and then in the retreat space. So that's a little bit about what my business model is going to look like for, just the foreseeable future. So I hope that this message was helpful for you guys. Maybe it gave you a little bit of validation that you were on the right path and doing the right thing. I will see you guys tomorrow for another YouTube Live at 11:11, and I hope you have a beautiful day.